Okay, so audio is on. I need to start the sharing and we're gonna get going. And oh my goodness, my head is like right in there, but that's good because the light is good tonight. If anybody's curious about lighting, I'll tell you what I did later. It's kind of crazy. All right, so let's go here. More live on Facebook. We're going there. And we're going to the GF Mom Certified Business page. So we gotta change this and that's good. Go live, and then I should see it pop up. This is all how this kind of goes together and works and all that wonderful stuff, setting up the webinar. I'm so excited tonight to share this information with you. I hope I don't talk too much or too loud or any of that stuff. Extremely excited to be sharing this with you. Let's see here. Now, from here, I need to hit share, and I need to share here, and we're just getting this all going, and it'll be super easy in a minute. Join us now live to talk about gut health and enzymes. We help people poop. Yes, I talk about poop in every video. If I don't, it's like this huge failure. Okay, posting, and let's jump over so I can see. Okay, so we should be live. You guys, there's a chat box, and I want you to be aware that if you've got questions, I will get to those at the end of the webinar tonight. So go ahead and use the chat box. The other thing I have going is I have help tonight on social media. Those beeps are gonna drive me crazy. 1 second. Let's get rid of those beeps. Okay, beeps should be gone. So like I was saying, if you've got questions, use the chat box. I've got help on social media tonight. So if you are watching this live on GF Mom Certified on Facebook, I want you as well to put your comments below the video, do the thumbs up, give us hearts. If you've got, I mean, any of that, let's be interactive. We are a community, right? And all right, so, and we're recording as well so that later on, we can share this with all of those wonderful people that are looking for the information. And all right, so first of all, I do want to introduce myself if you've never met me. My name is Tiffany Henson. Hey, Janie. And I am a Chicago local. I am not Chicago native, but I have been here for quite a while. And so I'm not going to go into my big backstory. We'll get into that later, maybe tonight, maybe not. Many of you have probably seen me live speaking at one of the gluten-free wellness events, maybe speaking on Fox News. Perhaps you've seen me at a Gluten-Free and More magazine event on stage doing a cooking demo. But the whole purpose of GF Mom Certified is to help women have a life and a body that they love, to help women feel better, to help women have energy, to take care of their family, to take care of their kids, to get up in the morning and go do what they want to do, right? And that is our purpose. The really cool thing about what I like to do is I love hearing stories. And so I have lots of stories to share with you tonight about gut health healing. And I know Miss Veronica Unser, one of my past clients and a fellow partner with me in this new product we're launching, is shared her story earlier today on Facebook and came up with the hashtag We Help People Poop. So you feel free to use that hashtag. I love it. It makes people laugh and it makes them curious. Like, how are you helping people poop? Because there's so many people that just can't poop. So a little bit of my backstory, right? I will give you that. So I went through childhood with stomach issues, acid reflux, asthma. By the time I was 14, I had massive stomach things going on, right? Tummy things. By the time I was 16, I had hormonal issues and I had female issues, and that's a whole nother story we don't have to go into. By the time I was 18, my intestines had eroded enough to where I had bleeding. And so yes, that means every time you fart, I talk a lot about poop and farts and gas and all of that, you have blood. That's not fun when you're dating, let me tell you. You make up excuses, and it's not just I gotta wash my hair. Sometimes you can't even leave the bathroom. So then you're like, I got the flu. I ate something bad today at the cafeteria. I don't know. You make up stuff, right? I will tell you, by the time I was 18, I had also had 2 colonoscopies. By the time I was 21, I had had 4 colonoscopies. So if you've had a colonoscopy, give us a thumbs up, because it's something that I find is very common and people just don't talk about it. And then I went through 14 years of infertility. right? And they just basically told me I had irritable bowel syndrome, and that's just the way it was, and I had unexplained infertility issues. What I want to tell you is what I found, and I found through food and nutrition, through cleaning up my diet, I actually had 3 kids. I had 3 kids in 3 years. I had 3 children that are amazing, that I never thought I had, that are a gift from God. My children, you've had 15 colonoscopies, Sue. Oh my goodness. I feel for you. They're awful. So my kids are all have either an intolerance, an autoimmune disease, or have food allergies. We have EpiPens. We carry Benadryl with us everywhere. I've got a daughter who was diagnosed with Crohn's disease and celiac on the same day because she had an endoscope and a colonoscopy, so that's the top and the bottom, all in the same day when she was 2, and she walked away from the hospital 6 days later and has been living on a modified paleo diet for years. And we found enzymes about 3 weeks ago, and they within a week she's like, my poop's weird. And many of you have seen the poop video. It's kind of went viral. It's called Guts and Poop if you want to find it on my Facebook page. But the poop video, she came out and said, my poop's weird. And I'm thinking, oh, great. Your poop is more white. Your poop is more runny. What's going on? We're used to white diarrhea. And she's like, no, it's brown and it's one piece. And I was like, oh, that's normal. We've never had normal poop since I've known you, meaning since she was born. And that's the power of enzymes. And that is one of those stories that just proved to me like, oh my gosh, plant-based is so powerful. And it's just, it's everything. Your body is a true miracle. God and the universe and whoever you believe in, your God, he gave you something great in your body. You just got to give it what it needs to actually activate the healing powers. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So I want to dive into a little bit of detail here for you as well. Wherever you're at in your current location, and I mean that in your health location, right? In your journey, wherever you're at right now, that's where you are. And your path is different than everybody else's path. We understand that. I definitely understand that. I work with women all the time, and where they're at on their journey to wellness is a different place than somebody else. And you have to be met where you're at. I totally get that. And what you need in your life, right? You know what change you want in order to realize your desires. Somebody else may not know that, and they can't empathize with you unless you share your story. And all of this happens in your life. It's not happening in my life. I have my own stories. So when you start to share stories within our community, that's when you start to realize like, oh, I have similar patterns. I have similar symptoms. Maybe some of the stuff that you did that helped you or helped Lily or helped Miss Janelle or helped Miss Veronica, that will help me, right? But it doesn't mean it's a one-size-fits-all because it's not. Everybody's body is different. Everybody's microbiota is different. Everybody's gut is different. Everybody's DNA is different. So I want you to know that going into it. Challenges, right? A lot of you probably right now are like, oh my goodness. And through your head, you've got this list of challenges. And we'll talk a little bit about this tonight, but a lot of times challenges are not just gas. They're not just bleeding from your butt. Challenges might be that you always look pregnant and you're tired of people asking you if you're pregnant. Challenges might be that you haven't pooped for 6 days and you just feel like you're going to vomit the next time you put food in because there's no place for the food to go. And you're just so full of constipation that it's driving you insane. Challenges could be that you wake up every morning with a headache and you're like, I can't go on in life with a headache. Challenges could be that you have like skin things going on, or you have acne in the lower part of your face, or maybe you got greasy hair, or you're going bald. Women aren't supposed to be bald. There's something wrong. So there's challenges, and there's challenges everywhere, but you have your own list of challenges. And I know that as we get going tonight, those challenges are kind of come into your head. You can write them down. You can put them in the comments. If you feel like when you want to share them, go for it. But I want you to know that there's strategies that meet those challenges. And that's why we're together today. And I want you to know that with a proper coach, it doesn't have to be me, but if you get a proper coach that can help you develop strategies, you can actually make adjustments in your own life so you can get where you want to go. Everybody has a dream. Everybody has a desire. And every time I ask somebody, where do you want to be in 90 days? They all have an answer. Sometimes it's, I want to be, 40 pounds lighter. Sometimes it's, I don't want to feel pain in my knees anymore. Other times it's people that say, I don't want to be on insulin anymore. Everybody has this place where they want to be in 90 days. They just don't think that it's possible. I want you to know it's possible. All right, so we're going to talk about what is an enzyme. What could you get value? Like, what could you get value, or what is the benefit, right, of taking an enzyme? Who does it help? Would it help you? We're gonna talk about that. And then how do you pick a good enzyme? What do you look for? Those are things, right? You walk into the store and you look at a label and you just, I have no idea what these words are. They're too big. I can't pronounce them. So I'm going to walk through with you kind of what are those things to look for, okay? And there is a lot of content. So I want you to know up front that I am recording this. I will distribute the recording to people that are on the GF Mom Certified mailing list. So if you want to get on that mailing list, you want this recording so you can watch it again later, so you can share it with somebody in your family. I mean, for me, a lot of times I want to just share stuff with my mother because I want my mom to be well. I want my kids to have a grandma, right? So you can hop over to mom-certified.com, drop us your name in an email, and that'll get you on that list, and you'll start getting like the recording from tonight especially, okay? The other thing is we are shooting this live. And so some of you are on Facebook and some of you are on Zoom. And if you've got people you want to see this and you're like, hey, you need to see this like right now, hop on Facebook and share or tag them in the GF Mom Certified post so that they have that pop up in their feed and they can start watching the video as well. Now, I'm going to do something really, really cool for you. I'm actually going to show you what an enzyme can do. And then we're going to dive into the content because I think this is so important, right? So I have with me a snack pudding cup, right? And how many of you can do the thumbs up, you can hit the like button, you can just say, yes, me. How many of you had snack pudding cups in your lunchbox as a kid growing up? How many of you send a snack pudding? Yeah, Elena, right? You send the snack pudding in your kid's lunch to school. Do you ever think about the consequences? Have you ever seen this? The snack pudding is not going anywhere. It's stuck. It's sitting there when you eat, and your body has to figure out, how do I change that so it'll go somewhere? Is that crazy? All right, so I have a snack pudding. I have an enzyme. Yes, this is unlabeled because I'm not going to tell you a certain brand on the video to go buy. I will definitely share with you this brand if you message me directly after we get done with the video, or if you've got questions, I will share the brand with you. But it's not about branding right now. It's about you getting information and knowledge and education. Honestly, it's about education. Enzyme, snack pudding. All right, I got to set this down for a second so I can open this enzyme. This enzyme here that I have that we've been using that I am in love with is plant-based, gluten-free, vegan, locally sourced. And this capsule is just a vegetable capsule. And it's got nothing in it. It's like non-GMO. It's awesome. So I'm just putting it in the pudding, and I'll show you this in 1 second. I just want to get it in there. Okay, so the snack pudding enzyme on top. And this is what Lily started doing. Lily would get a spoon. Some of you are going to think we're crazy, but this is what she would do. She would take her spoon. She puts maple syrup on it, organic, all-natural, non-GMO maple syrup from the local farmer's market, puts the enzyme on top, and eats it. And I'm like, perfect. And now what you need to know, and I'm just going to kind of mix this around. Lily has been pooping normal. Lily is asking for enzymes. Lily has a mindset where she knows what her body is telling her. When we brought her home at the age of 2 from the hospital, knowing that we had to change her diet, knowing that she would never be able to eat like any other kid, right? Knowing that there's things like corn and gluten and dairy that just don't sit well in her body, that she needed to understand how and when her body was talking to her. And she started working with a local nutritional psychologist. And so she's got this huge connection that I actually honestly feel very blessed that she has that, because a lot of kids in kindergarten don't have that connection. They have no idea that that stomach ache is probably from something they did or ate beforehand, okay? Now, this is crazy. I've been stirring this, 15 seconds, maybe 20, talking about this. I also want to tell you about Miss Janelle Zafer, why I'm doing this. Oh, I'm starting to spill it, so we'll stop stirring. Okay, so you've watched me stir this, nothing magical. You watch the enzyme. This is a cup. Watch this. Okay, so you saw that earlier, right? You saw that it didn't go anywhere. And now think about this: when you add one enzyme to some snack pudding, how much easier is that for somebody to digest, to pull the nutrients out from? That's what we're going to dive into. How does this really work? It's not magic. It's just what it is. It's honestly the truth. It happens. All right, so we're going to dive into that, and that's really cool. Karen, you're asking for the GF Mom website. It's gfmomcertified.com is the website. Okay, now let's jump into what is an enzyme. And like I said, I have little notes, so I have talking points for you, which is so important for me to stay on track because I get very distracted. So the role of a digestive enzyme, the primary act of it is to act as a catalyst to speed up and to break down the particles of your food so that your body can actually get to the nutrients faster, so that your body can break them down and absorb them and pull all those nutrients out to give you energy, to give your cells something more. So those nutrients in your food, right, they end up inside a mitochondria. So let's go back to 7th grade biology. You have a cell. Inside the cell, you have the nucleus, that's the brain, and then you have a mitochondria. The mitochondria part of the cell is the food sac. So if you crack a chicken egg or a duck egg in our instance, the yellow part, the yolk, is the mitochondria. It's the fuel for the cell. And when you eat things that are processed, standard American diet, high in sugar, then the mitochondria is not getting the nutrients that it's seeking. It's especially if you're eating things that don't have phytonutrients, right? It's not getting that stuff. And so if you actually take an enzyme, it breaks everything down. It uses less energy to do it. And your body can actually get those micronutrients to the mitochondria so much faster. And it gives your body energy and it gives you healing power. Because what you may not realize is it takes 80% of our energy that we have available and stored up to process food every time we eat. So that means that if your body is working on healing like a tennis elbow or something and you eat a hamburger, all that energy that's trying to heal the tennis elbow has to move, and all those blood cells have to go to the stomach and break down the food. And then once you're done digesting, and some of us, it takes us a day to digest, sometimes at 4 hours, sometimes, for some of us, we had constipation for days. Then once it's done digesting, then the body can go back and start that repair process again. And so it takes you longer to get better. It takes you longer to get over a cold. It takes you longer to do a lot of things, okay? Now, essentially, what the enzyme does is it's breaking those larger molecules into smaller molecules so they can be absorbed, which is we just talked about. And the other thing that it's doing is because they're smaller, for people that have leaky gut is where you have the intestinal lining, you have your villi, your shags, and then you have food that's leaking into the holes of your gut, right? And the larger the particle, the more you're going to end up with an intolerance or an inflammation response because the white blood cells are like, oh my goodness, there's an intruder. We don't know what it is. It doesn't matter if it's gluten. It doesn't matter if it's dairy. It doesn't matter if it's red beans. We don't know what it is. We better send all the white blood cells down there and figure it out and attack it, right? And you end up with an inflammatory response, which is that bloated stomach. Inflammatory is gas. Inflammatory is pain, joints, knees, headaches. All of that is inflammatory. So if the particles are already broken down and they're smaller, when they go through those villi and into the gut, the body can recognize them and you don't have the inflammatory response. So a lot of people are like, I take an enzyme and I have a flat stomach. Well, honestly, you take the enzyme and you don't have inflammation. It doesn't make your stomach flatter. That's the consequence of not having inflammation. Now, I know this is flying at you. This is my life. I live in this stuff day and night. And so if you've got questions, get those posted. We will get answers to your questions, but I want you to have an understanding, okay? And there's different types of enzymes, which we'll get into as well. But there's enzymes that break down lactose. There's enzymes that break down fat. There's enzymes that break down sugar. There's enzymes that break down protein and meat. There's all these different things. And what you need to know is enzymes are natural. They do exist in raw vegetables and fruits. And when people always say chew your food for 30 chews, right? And you're chewing and you're chewing and you're chewing and you're like, I am ridiculous. Why am I still chewing? It's because if you were actually eating raw food like carrots, raw sweet potatoes, raw, green peppers, yellow peppers, whatever, as you're chewing, the enzyme in the food is getting released and mixed with your saliva so that it starts to break down the food and you have the same thing occur. How many of you can raise your hand again or hit the plus sign or the like, how many of you are actually eating raw food for every single meal? Not juicing it, not steaming it, not cooking it. You're just like yanking a carrot out of the fridge and taking a bite. Not very many people. So that's the place of an enzyme. An enzyme helps that. It also helps when you have cooked food or processed food that whatever nutrients are available in that food, it's going to help extract those so your body can actually use those for energy, okay? Now, so that is an enzyme, right? So they're plant-based. The other place that we have enzymes naturally is in our pancreas. So our body, we're born with enzyme production capabilities. Another thing that's really cool about the human body. But over time, through damage to the pancreas, maybe you had, alcohol damage, maybe you have, blood sugar issues, your pancreas is just dying, whatever, or you've just used up that availability, your pancreas may not have the enzymes you need for that item that you ate. So then you may end up being lactose intolerant older in life and not actually have a milk allergy because your pancreas doesn't have the enzymes to break down lactose anymore, so it can't release them, right? Or maybe you're finding out that every time you eat red meat or you're eating a steak that you just feel like you got this heavy weight in your stomach. Well, maybe your pancreas doesn't have those enzymes to break down protein like it used to in meat. And so by taking an enzyme, you're helping in that process. Is this making sense? I hope so. I want you guys to thumbs up. Is it making sense? Let me know that it's making sense, okay? Now, the second thing we were gonna cover tonight, and I gotta look at my little quick cheat sheet, is the value, right? What is the value of an enzyme, right? And I'm gonna go down here. And could you, right? This is really important. Could you benefit from adding an enzyme to your regimen? The one thing that I always talk about with when I'm out on stage or when I'm doing a thing, I always talk about these 5 steps to healing inflammation, right? And I always talk about them in 5 steps because a lot of times people can't change everything. They can't just flip their life upside down. As cool as that would be, you can't just flip your life upside down and say, today I'm going to be a different person. I'm just going to do something totally different, right? That takes a lot. But if you can add little small action steps that start to multiply together, that's what makes the benefit. And so an enzyme might be one of those small action steps that you add to your daily life. Thank you, Sarah, for confirming that this is making sense too. That means that I'm just not rattling around in my own brain. So those small action steps that you're doing, those are what can make the difference. Those small action steps that you add can add up to become a multiplier. And if you caught the video yesterday about hacking your health and creating innovation in your health, those small multipliers become genius and they change your body. They change the way you feel. They change the way that you get up in the morning and you just want to be alive and you find joy in the fact that you just feel amazing, right? Or people say, oh my gosh, what are you doing? You look so great. And it's I haven't really changed that much. What have I changed, right? And you got to actually think about it because you haven't changed a whole lot of things, but you've changed enough little things that people take notice and they want to be like you. They want to have more energy. They want to be more vibrant. They want their skin to clear up. They want to look and just look young again. And they look at you like, oh my gosh, how did that happen? And that's when you can tell your story, okay? So could you benefit? Now, digestive enzymes have been found in research. A lot of this is from Dr. Joseph McCullough's website. A lot of this is from Dr. Terry Walls. I'm not making this stuff up. I went and did the research. Dr. Axe has great information out there too. But digestive enzymes can help things like acid reflux, right? Or gas, bloating, leaky gut. We talked about all of that. IBS, which is irritable bowel syndrome. Irritable bowel syndrome is a syndrome. It's not a disease. You don't have to have it for the rest of your life. Don't let the doctor tell you any different because it's not. It can help Crohn's disease. It can help ulcerative colitis. That is when you have ulcers in your colon. Colitis means that area of the large intestine, and ulcerative means ulcerated. Malabsorption. So maybe you have somebody that's vitamin D deficient, or you've got somebody that's iron deficient, or you have a kid that is failure to thrive. Adding enzymes can help them get all the nutrients from their food, and huge benefit. Can help somebody that's got diarrhea or constipation, right? Because those are caused by different things. And then they can also help take stress off the stomach or the liver or the pancreas or the gallbladder. So you've got somebody that has fatty liver disease, or you have somebody that has gallbladder issues or kidney stones. Taking an enzyme can take the pressure and the stress off. It can help the digestion process work more efficient and more speedy and allow the body to go and focus on what it needs to focus on to heal, okay? It can also help break down protein, starches, and fats, which we discussed. All right, so say that you have been taking an enzyme, and we'll talk about what a good enzyme is in a minute, but let's say you've been taking an enzyme, and you're gonna hear a lot of stories, right? Miss Veronica, it's actually, I keep calling her Veronica Unser, but she got married recently. Miss Veronica Singh shared a story earlier today on Facebook, and I'm gonna reshare it because she did make it public, that before working with me as her coach and before doing some changes in her health, she would actually go up to 6 days without having a poop. That's horrible, first of all. It's toxic for your body. Your blood gets toxic. your liver builds up, you get headaches, and you can end up with a mass in your large intestine. And sometimes when you have a mass, they have to surgically go in and remove it, right? And so that was one of the things she noticed right away, like within 2 weeks, like she was pooping regularly. And now that she's added an enzyme, she's pooping multiple times a day. So we know the body's working, it's processing, right? But if you've been taking an enzyme, you should be looking for these things in your body to change. If they're not changing, you need to start questioning whether that enzyme is the right one for your body. It's not that it's not good for everybody, but it might not be the right one for you. So your stool should change. Your stool, if your stool floats in the toilet, or it's pale in color, like with Liliana, white, or Manila Fuller colored, if it's not a brown, like chocolate brown enzyme or poop, your bile and your bile salts are not working correctly, and your gallbladder's having some issues, and you need to get an enzyme in, and you may need to have some other tests run because your poop should be brown, okay? But an indicator of a great enzyme means that your poop is brown. It's not floating on the surface anymore. It's actually kind of just going into the toilet. It's snake-like, right? And it's smooth. It's not, you're not got rabbit turds. A lot of people say, oh, I pooped, but they have rabbit turds. Or it's black, or, you know, there's all this other stuff, right? Now, the other thing that you might notice if you're taking the correct enzyme is there's indicators in the gastro area, right? You're going to actually not get gassy. Now, I will clarify one thing. If you start an enzyme, the very first week you're on an enzyme, you may be extra gassy. Your body is adjusting to the enzyme. Your body is working through the microbiota, and it's starting to do a healing process in the gut. A lot of times people call it a die-off process. So you might be gassy for those first 5 days. That is fine. After 5 days, if you're still taking enzymes, you should not have gas. You should not have bloat. You should not have abdominal cramping or any of that. So those are some things to think about, right? Now, let's talk about who should be taking enzymes. And we mentioned this before, but definitely if you have an autoimmune disease, if you have rheumatoid arthritis, if you have multiple sclerosis, if you have fibromyalgia, you should be on an enzyme. If you have failure to thrive, and that's normally in children or in elderly people, you should be taking an enzyme. It will help you. Now, all right, so I'm going to scroll back up to my little cheat notes for just 1 second. Again, thumbs up. Is this working? Is this making sense? How long does it take for the enzyme to work? Well, if you're on the right enzyme, it took 15 seconds. If you're taking and you can even test that at home, right? If you have an enzyme, get some snack pudding, put it in there, see how long it takes it to break down. I will also tell you, it's a great question, Sue. If you get that and you put your enzyme that you've got at home or the enzyme you're using and you stick it in there and it sat for multiple days, I would not use that enzyme, okay? It should take a tiny amount of time, minute max, personally, I think. Okay, so we talked about who should be taking them, benefits. All right, I know where we're headed. Let's go down here. And I will be answering questions as we go, and then I'll get more questions at the end, okay? So benefits of an enzyme. Benefits are huge. We talked about some of these already, but I do want to clarify a few of these. Without an enzyme, if you're eating raw food, great, you don't need to take the enzyme. You only need to take the enzyme if you're eating stuff that's been processed, cooked, pre-cooked, boiled, sauteed, heated, right? Then you need the enzyme. If you are just eating a salad and it's got like no processed salad dressing, but just a salad, you don't need an enzyme. If you have a green juice in the morning, like a lot of my coaching clients do, or a smoothie in the morning, which is fruits and vegetables, you don't need an enzyme. There's nothing in there that's been cooked or processed. You don't need it, okay? But if you're doing anything that is otherwise, take the enzyme, because without it, you're not going to process your food. And with that being said, there's 3 reasons why most people should take a digestive enzyme, right? It helps heal the leaky gut. It takes the stress off the GI tract. We talked about that. It helps break down those difficult to digest proteins, right? Like sugars and glutens and caseins and lactose. Is it going to make you non-celiac? No. If you have celiac disease, take the enzyme, stay off the gluten. Is it going to make you get rid of your type 2 diabetes or your type 1 diabetes? No, it's not. Don't go eat a bunch of sugar just because you have an enzyme. That would be kind of crazy. It's going to also, the enzyme is greatly going to improve the symptoms of acid reflux and IBS, okay? It may not make them go away completely because you may have an underlying health condition. You may need to go get a metabolic panel or get a hold of a functional medicine doctor or practitioner so that you can actually get some tests done and know what's going on. you may actually, as an adult, have developed a real food allergy, and that may need to be diagnosed, okay? It will also, the enzyme will enhance the nutritional absorption and prevent nutritional deficiencies, right? So that's the increase in energy. That's the vibrance in the skin. That's the color coming back. That's the healing. That's all of that stuff, right? That's waking up before your alarm goes off in the morning so you don't have to scare yourself awake anymore. The counteracting, so I want to be very clear about something, right? So Francesca, my oldest daughter, has galactosemia. And if you have galactosemia, you're probably familiar with this. If you don't, it's a genetic disease that she was born with, disorder, whatever you want to call it. Her body will never produce the GALT gene, right? Or the GALT, and that means she doesn't have a lactase enzyme. She cannot produce lactase enzymes. So when I was talking to the scientist that has produced this enzyme that we're working with, I asked her, because I was curious, and I kind of already knew the answer, but I was very curious. I said, so what happens when she's in junior high and she wants to go eat pizza? Can she take like 4 enzymes and go eat the pizza? And she said she could, but I wouldn't suggest it because it's not going to break down all of that milk and that lactose all the way. So if you're going to do that kind of stuff and you're going to intentionally do it, you probably want to do at least 4 enzymes and an antihistamine or a Benadryl so you don't have an allergic reaction, right? So just don't think that you can take the enzyme and then go like wreck your whole diet plan. It's not going to work. You're not going to cure yourself. You might feel great, but eventually it's going to do some tissue damage. So just be very careful. I just want to throw that out there as a caution, okay? Now, we have a couple more things to cover, and then I've got some Q&A, and I got some fun stuff and all of that great stuff. But I want to talk about how to pick a good enzyme. How do you know you're getting the pill that's going to work for you? How do you know it's the right one? How do you, and I mean, that's what Sue was asking. How long should it take, right? So there are hundreds of digestive enzymes on the market. And ideally, you want to look for an enzyme formula with some of the following characteristics, okay? These are characteristics that are important. It should contain a mixture of different types of enzymes. It should not just be a lactase. It should not just be, you know, some of these other ones. It should be a mixture, right? It should include lipase, protease, and amylase at a minimum, if not a bunch of others. The ingredients should be high quality. It should be all natural, and it should be free of allergens and additives. There's no reason to add gluten to an enzyme. There's no reason to add fillers. There's no reason to add a bunch of stuff that you can't pronounce to an enzyme. It should be plant-based. Plant-based is better for our bodies. The supplement should be labeled as an enzyme, right? Or because we're in the US, it won't be labeled as a pharmaceutical. It's a supplement. We understand that, but it should be labeled as an enzyme. Probiotics are different. You can get an enzyme probiotic together, which actually that is what this is. But you may still need an additional probiotic, and we can do a whole nother webinar on probiotic. I love probiotics, love, love, love them, but your body might need both, especially if you're trying to reseed your intestinal or your gut. You may need a probiotic at the same time you're taking an enzyme so that you can start to reseed your gut lining and you can get good bacteria in there to fight the bad stuff, but you still need the enzyme to help break down the food to feed the good bacteria. Does that make sense? And then it should be a reputable company, one that has rigorous testing and quality controls and testing for potence, right? So with the enzyme we're using, the company's been around for over 20 years. Their lead scientist actually trains the medical profession. That right there speaks volumes. They've been carried throughout they're actually distributed throughout the world, and they were in 10,000 different retail establishments. That again speaks volumes. Now the really cool thing is that I've had a chance to team up with them and work in an affiliate relationship, so I can actually, and that's what I wanted to tell people, is I can actually help you get your hands on a really good enzyme for not a lot of money. So we can talk about that later. You guys private message me for those details. I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to share the name with you on this video. This video is about educating you on the benefits of an enzyme, okay? Now, I want to make sure I covered all of this information with you because it's highly important that you completely understand. Are there questions out there that I need to be addressing, right? So I see right now, again, somebody asked about the website. Our website is gfmomcertified.com. The email list is mom-certified.com, okay? Those are the two places where you can go get lots of information. Karen is out there as well helping me moderate, and she shared the link to our website. So if you're in the chat box, you can just copy that if you want, okay? Marcia has raised her hand. that was for something earlier. She said, yes, that's me. All right. Magic Zafer. Oh yeah, if you've got testimonials or you've been taking an enzyme, let's share some of those stories and I'll read them. That's awesome. So Mr. Magic Zafer's on the line. He said he's so glad he started taking an enzyme. It's been a game changer for his pain. Now, a lot of you don't realize that Magic's wife is my client. I don't normally take male clients. I work with females. And so, oh, it is actually Janelle logged in as Magic. Okay. So I'm going to share Janelle's story. Is that okay, Janelle? And then Will wants to know about empty stomach. Yes, Janelle says it's okay. So I'm going to share Janelle's story with you because this is so important. So Miss Janelle Zafer, and this is how all of my coaching clients come into being, right? They come into being because they come and they get on the phone with me and they're like, I need help. And that is the first step of saying, I know I need to change. I don't necessarily know where to start, but I need help in finding the change because I can't live here. The pain is not working for me. Janelle has plantar fasciitis. And so what that is you have an arch in your foot. And when you gain weight or when your arch starts to go away, the tendon in your foot starts to stretch. And as that tendon stretches, those starts to rip and tear, and it's super painful, okay? What you need to know about Miss Janelle Zafer is that she had a baby about 2 years ago and had never lost any of the weight. And all that extra weight, plus the weight of carrying the 2-year-old, was putting weight on her feet. And it was causing those tendons to stretch and causing this plantar fasciitis. Now, Janelle called me the day before the 4th of July, so July 3rd, right? And I love doing this to people. I will be transparent. I'll be honest with you. I love to challenge people. And she said, I need help. I said, great. When do you want to start? And she's like, now. I go, okay, fabulous. We'll see each other because we know each other at the same 4th of July party. And I'll be there to cheer you on. And you're going to start your new plan. And she's like, oh, okay, I'll do it, right? And yes, it was a struggle, but I want you to know that was July 3rd. Today is what, December 7th, December 8th? Janelle has lost 40 pounds. It's not about the weight loss. Janelle has moved to a primarily plant-based diet. She feels better. She's been on the enzymes for 30 days now, and the pain in her feet, the weight dropped, which helped, but the pain in her feet and the healing was able to occur because she added the enzyme. She added the enzyme, which took the stress off and the time that it took to digest the food so that the body could actually go down there and start to regenerate those little tendons that it needed and to fix those in the bottom of her feet. So that is an amazing story. Okay, Will is asking, what if you take an enzyme on an empty stomach? That's a great question. So if you take an enzyme on an empty stomach, like say 2 to 3 hours after you've had a meal with a glass of water, like right before you go to bed, we'll use that as an example. The enzyme is actually still going to penetrate your gut, and it's going to go into your blood, and it's going to start to detox your blood, and it's going to start to eat all those little bad things that are floating around in your blood. So for some of us that have celiac disease like myself, and we get gluten or we eat something that bothers us, right? Maybe you've got a dairy issue or some other intolerance, and the intolerance and the inflammation is happening because those particles are floating around in your blood. You can take 1 or 2 enzymes on your empty stomach, go to bed, and let the enzyme go around in your bloodstream while you're sleeping and start breaking those down. And it will do that. It'll break down sugars, you know, it'll help do all of that stuff. And so that can help you if you're having a reaction. I know Miss Angela Lunt is a friend of mine who has a lot of food intolerances, and adding an enzyme after she's had a reaction is huge because it will start to clean the blood for her. Okay, Maria Page is saying, how do the enzymes affect someone taking medication? It will have a different effect on each individual. For a lot of people, because your blood is cleaner, because your digestive tract is cleaner, your medication is actually going to be absorbed much faster, and you may find that it's working for you much better, and eventually you might be able to go to your doctor and get your dosages lowered. Your blood pressure medication may not need to be so high because your body's actually digesting it and absorbing it and using the medication for what it's intended for. So there is that side effect benefit of it working faster for you. And also, if you're taking a supplement or an energy shot or doing any of that stuff because you're going to go work out at the gym, you need to be wary that you might not need as much, or you might go into the gym and think you're He-Man or She-Woman. But if your intent is to be Wonder Woman when you get to the gym, go for it. All right, Janie, in 1 week on the enzymes, I love these testimonials. after my 37 years in the restaurant business. You guys all know what that means, right? You're on your feet forever, every day. My pain in my feet are almost completely gone, and my knee pain is almost gone. I'm going to give you a little bit more insight. Janie actually posted a picture on Facebook last week, and she was at the gym at 5 a.m. in the morning. This is a woman who has knee pain and foot pain, and I was like, what is she doing at the gym at 5 a.m.? Because she felt that great. That is the benefit of an enzyme. Would an enzyme help if you have the flu or food poisoning? Definitely if you have food poisoning, it will tremendously help you. If you have the flu, it will help your body. I would still take it with food, but if you can't stomach the food with the flu, I get it. It will help your body be able to heal faster. It won't get rid of the flu. It won't, but it will help your body be able to heal itself faster. Okay. Okay, let me go. I'm looking at the time, and I want to be very, very, and you're able to sleep better. That is true, Janie. You are so much better. So a lot of you don't realize, but when your liver is trying to process stuff in the middle of the night, this is one of the first things I teach my clients, because you should be fasting at night. And I don't want to give you all this great information and you not be able to use it, right? So you should be fasting while you're sleeping so that your liver actually has time to process things. And it has time to break stuff down. And so a lot of people don't sleep well, or they have hot flashes even though they're not in menopause, because their body is trying to break down sugar. And you might wake up with night sweats. And a lot of times that's just because you've had too much sugar for the day and your liver is flushing your body. And in doing the flush, it's releasing everything out of your skin. Or you might wake up at like 3 a.m. and you got to pee. Oh my goodness, I have to go to the bathroom. I got to get up out of bed. I don't want to get up, but I got to get up, right? That is, again, your liver working. So you're sleeping better, I'm sure, because there's not so much for your liver to have to detox. It's amazing, right? So, okay, so I know that if you've joined this webinar, you actually put it on your clock, you put it on your calendar, you made the time to come and sit and watch this for a good 45 minutes. That speaks to me on a lot of levels. That's like the people that pay to come see me live, because you're not going to pay the money, you're not going to spend this time unless you actually have something going on with you yourself or somebody in your family and you know that they need help. That's when you show up for the information, because either you don't feel the best that you can feel, or you've got somebody else that you're like, oh my gosh, they need this information because they need help and I got to get the information so I can help them. Otherwise, you don't take the time. You got something else going on. I get that, right? So I can tell you right now, there's 3 types of people on the webinar. The first type of person is going to say, I need more than an enzyme, Tiffany. I need coaching. Tell me about your VIP package. And I'm going to tell you right now, I would love to talk to you. We can get on the phone, talk about coaching, put it in the comments. I'll follow up with you. Private message me your phone number. I'll get on the phone. I'll call you. But I'm not going to go into coaching. But I do want you to know that I do coach women with autoimmune diseases. They have amazing, amazing results. And that's something I love to do. So if you are that first type of person that's like, oh my goodness, I'm raising my hand, I got a little chicken wing, or I got my hand way up high because I am that person that's like, I can't go into 2018 the same way. My business cannot afford for me to be sick, right? Then let's talk, because you are the person that says, I need the coaching. You know you need the coaching. I'm here to help you. Now, the second type of person is the person that says, hey, I want to be an affiliate. I want to help people like you're helping people. I know there's people in my life that could use enzymes, right? I can help set that up for you as well. If somebody else invited you to join this webinar tonight and they need to get on a 3-way with me and they want to help be an affiliate so you can be an affiliate, let's work that out. We'll make that happen. It's not a big, it's so easy and it's so fun, because what's really cool is like these stories that Janie are telling, the stories about Janelle, the stories about little Lily, right? Those stories are awesome. And those stories make you so happy. And it's so cool, because when you're the person that's helping them get the result, they come back to you and they're like, I have to thank you for this. I have to tell you that you've changed my life. And hearing somebody say that to you for the first time is, it's life altering. I will tell you that. It's so gratifying. It's humbling, because you're like, it's not me. I didn't make you do it. And I didn't change the way you're being, right? And there's another testimonial, right? So Connie shared that she gave one enzyme to her 86-year-old mother for digestive issues. And within hours, it was the first time her mom actually said, I have no back pain. Now, how many of us know an elderly person that can't sit up straight, or, is just always crampy or just doesn't feel right? Connie gave one enzyme to her 86-year-old mother, and her back pain went away. That's awesome. Yeah. Okay. So the third type of person, right? Because you're one of these three. You just are. You wouldn't have put in an hour if you weren't. The third type of person is the person that says, I need the enzyme. I'm kind of selfish. I need it for myself. How do I get it? Right? If you're that person and you're like, I need those enzymes, I need an enzyme, I need to change my own life, then you need to put it in the message, send us a private message. You can actually go to Facebook if you want. You can email me directly. I'll give you my email at the end of this. And we'll get on the phone and we'll get you what you need to know. And I'll share the brand with you at that point, okay? I want this video to be very educational based. I don't want it to be a sales pitch because it's for you. It's for you to know how to feel better. It's for you to go out in the world and say, I'm having an amazing day because I am loving life and I'm loving my body. And that was the coolest thing with Janelle lately is like, not only did she lose the weight, but she also like has this energy abundance. So now with her little son, Liam, he's 2, right? She's got the energy to keep up with him. She's got the energy to go out and network and grow her own business every night. She's got the energy to run an indoor farmer's market this winter, which I am in love with this indoor farmer's market. And I'm always like, oh my gosh. But a lot of you also say, Tiffany, where do you get your energy? You do so much. You have 3 kids at home. You travel around the country talking to people. You coach people in the evenings after your kids go to bed. You coach people in the morning before you go in and you do a corporate coaching job. Where do you get that energy? I get that energy from the food and from some supplementation. It's no medication. It's nothing magical. It's not coffee. It's just, and it's a love. It's a love and a passion for you to feel better. So again, there's 3 people on this call. You wouldn't stay here for a whole hour with me. You want coaching? You're number 1, right? Number 2 is you want to share this with others. You want them to just feel better and you want to be the person they come back to and give that hug to and say, I'm so grateful for you. And we can help you do that. And then the third person is the one that says, I need an enzyme. I need something to make this work in my life, right? Let's talk, okay? But those are what I got for you. I will follow up. I will message people out. And feel free to, like I said, hop over to gfmomcertified.com or go over to mom-certified.com. Sign up for the mailing list. I'll send you this video so you can rewatch it. You can share it with somebody. And then if you're on the GF Mom Certified Facebook page and you want to share this, just tag them in the comments. We are a community. We are definitely a community. We're here to help you. And we're not just all women. Women are just my preferred client. I don't know. That's just my preference. That's my niche. Doesn't mean it has to be, but that is. And if you're somebody that's like, I need bigger help, let's talk. I have a whole community of resources and doctors I work with. And I trust them with my own children, so I would definitely trust them with you. All right. Have a blessed evening. I will talk to you all soon. Thank you for joining us this evening. You're welcome, Janie. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad you found value. You guys, if you found value, hit the heart, hit the I love this, because value is huge. So I know what to continue to give you. I will also tell you that every month I try to do a free education on a different topic. A lot of those old educations you can find on YouTube. You can go look me up on YouTube, and there's a lot of different educational videos out there from the last few years. But we try to do one a month, and the way to be notified about those is through our mailing list and is through our social media. So you'll want to definitely, connect with our community. I'm looking through these comments to make sure I got everything else. All right. I will talk to you all later. Thank you so much. Have a great evening. I'm glad you found so much help and so much value. Bye.